This is Old Electronics Fan, and today I'm doing something rather different. This was kind of an impulse buy. I was thinking I would like to go out and look for records to add to my record collection. I picked up a record recently that ultimately I didn't care for, so I thought, well, if the store owner will let me, maybe I can bring in a portable record player. So I saw this for sale on Etsy. It was pretty reasonable. Put them away, and things get moved and disappear and all that, so I don't want that to happen to me with those. Alright, so this came in the original box. Kind of surprised. It's got a little 45 adapter. And it proudly says solid state. Ooh. Now, the person who was selling this, I'm guessing they had not really ever used a record player before. And when they were demonstrating it, they did have it running, which I'm not crazy about. They, as you know, the platter turns this way. They put the needle on this side of the record and wondered why it went skating off. Well, this is what it does, the crazy thing it does. Now there's a problem with this, the end of this shaft that goes into here. I have had this out and I did look at it briefly. This can move, unfortunately. So the plastic has aged and it's cracked a little bit. So I'm hoping that I can give it a couple of shots of super glue, and I can possibly resolve the problem that way. Now the other thing I want to do though is, I want to take that, I want to open this up and see how it's doing, but before I do that, I want to take that screw out of that needle and remove the needle, because I really don't want the needle getting trashed. Let's see, I guess we'll do it this way. Maybe. There. Okay, there it is. It looks like the needle may be tweaked. I'll have to see how it rests on the record. That might be the other reason why it was skating along. So now, that should make that safe. It's kind of interesting how they did this when you put the cover on it. It secures that. I wanted to look inside before I turned it on. Little carry handle. I just really thought it would be a good idea. I mean, they did have it running, but it's got the 12-volt adapter and earphones. And I'm sure this is mono. I'm pretty sure it's probably too old to have, or I'm guessing it's too old to have stereo. You might be able to tell by the jack. Now the way these screws are coming out, it makes you wonder if this has ever had the screws out of it. I would be surprised if it's never had them out. Okay. Okay, now. So there it is, and yes, I'm pretty sure this is mono. Yeah, it is. Okay. Little tiny speaker there. Speed control right there. Well, that's the other thing. I don't know. What's this? A tone? Oh, it's actually got a tone control. So volume and tone control. And I'm looking to see what the capacitors look like, and I don't see anything wrong. These transistors, I'm hearing, are not noted for being reliable, unfortunately. Those are capacitors. Where's the I would have sworn those were transistors. I know that one is 3 legs. What's that one? That's got 2 legs. Okay. How many? It's a solid states. How many transistors do we actually have? We got one there. It's got to have more than one, doesn't it? I think it does. I'm trying to see. Oh, there's 3 legs on that one. Hard to tell. Oh, there's one there. 1, 2. So there's 3 that I've spotted so far. Philco. That capacitor says. And what are you? Philco. These are all Philcos in a Penncrest. Okay. So let's see here. All right. I think I want to hook this up to power. They didn't exactly spend a lot of money on this. All the sides seem to say, front and back say the same thing, and top and bottom say the same thing. I guess that's all they need. All right, so, oh, I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom in. That's the drive for this little record player, that little spindle. That little motor sitting there. Direct drive. Ooh. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's zoom back out again. So this is a little bit iffy. Okay, so this end goes there, so that means that positive. What? Okay, positive should be here, yes, and that's negative, of course. All right. So let's fire this up, my power supply over there, and I want to put on 6 volts. Okay. Okay. And turn you on. There it is. So I have no sound. No audio. Okay. Well, could be that there's unhappy capacitors in here. Could be a failed transistor. I've heard these transistors are less than great. But the first thing I want to do, I'm getting a pop out of the speaker when I do that. Okay. All right. I don't know that there's any easy way to get to those controls other than taking this out. Let's put that there for now. It seems that it's entirely too easy when you're doing things on your workbench to drag off anything loose. No. Oh, I didn't want. Okay. I guess that's gonna have to go. Use this one. All right. Given how stiff that volume control is, there's a very real possibility that the garbage that's built up in there is interfering with it working. And I could probably find that out pretty easily by putting a meter on it. That's an idea. Okay, let's see. I guess it wouldn't be. Oh, okay. They've got. That's very interesting. Let me show you. There's a spring on this that drives this against there, and then the holes down here are slotted, so you can move it closer to the turntable if you want to, if you need to. Well, let's see. There it goes. Yeah. I think. Let's see if we can shoot a little bit of this in there and make things happier. Okay. Let's see. Typically, there's a little, it's like a, I don't know what kind of material it is, phenolic or something, I don't know what it is. There's a little shield, usually on top of these controls. On the top of this, there's a little shield, and usually the shaft just comes up out of there. It's not a seal per se, so squirting something in here might possibly get cleaner down in there. I probably should take the knobs off so I can get in there better. Yeah, why don't I do that? And they've got a locking agent on there, but I think I'm going to do that. And I do have, yeah. Okay. So, I'll tell you what. Oh. Oh, that's tricky. I haven't run into that before, but then it's true of a lot of things. Well, that surprises me, but I guess I shouldn't be too surprised. What they've done is and I'll finish my thoughts sooner or later. I got engrossed in thinking about what's going on here. Let's see here. Yeah. So what they've done is they've got this little cover. That one looks like brass. Or copper? Copper brass? I don't know. And they have, this one looks like it's actually been squaged into, it's a D-shaped, well, kind of a square opening. And it looks like they've kind of squaged the seal up to the base of this. Ooh. Maybe we can get in that way. Okay. Alright, we'll use you. So that will tell me whether it's moving freer or not. And I think it is. Yeah, it does feel like it's moving better. Okay, clean up a little bit. And this one is the tone control, apparently. How freely do you move? Not very. The volume control is definitely a lot better now than the tone control is. So this is plastic. This is metal. I don't know why they made the difference. If I have a smaller screwdriver that might go in there. Maybe. No. I'm a little bit. I don't really want to force this, but yeah, there we go. Given that they've actually secured that cover, well, that didn't work out, so let's do this. The fewer things that I have falling over, the better, I guess. Come on. Fun. Let's try to get in there. Yeah, that's right. Still seems pretty firm. Well, let's do this. Still a way to secure that. Okay. Let's. Where's my other meter? I like this one better for that. The one I'm about to do. Okay, now this particular meter, which some of you already know, is not auto-ranging, and for some things I like it better because it seems to respond quicker. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Let's see. 220K. Let's try that. I don't know what resistance they're. Let's go from here to here. All right. So that's 8K. Let's see what this looks like. All right. That looks pretty good. It's a little stiff. It's all right. Seems like it's working. So let's go to our volume control, which they've decided to put the connections on that side, and they're not so easy to get to. Can I? No. Maybe. All right. Lovely. Let's see. Let's connect there, because that, I think, goes... And this should be... It is. Alright, so... Oh, these must be... Oh, that's the ground. I don't want that one. I actually want this one. Okay. There we are. Oh, that doesn't do. It sure makes it hard to read the... Okay. Alright. Come on. Okay, so that's all the way around. Oh, it's right to 0. Wow. Well, it seems to be working. Alright. And I should have resistance here. Yes, I do. Well, the fact that it's going to 0 leads me to believe that the resistance in the control is healthy. So, okay, I think it's working, that part. Alright, now, let's see, do I want to... I want pretty close to taping that rascal down so it doesn't do what it's doing. So right now I don't want it moving, so maybe I'll do that. Stay. Stop flopping. Alright. Now, I think I can run this upside down, because I don't think it's going to hurt anything. If I actually have to work on this, I may want to... No, I don't really want to undo that, but I may have to. Okay. Come on. Okay. So let's hook this back up. And okay. That should be on. There it is. Okay, let's put that like that. Now I should be able to yep, I get sound. That's not bad. Okay, well, off, please, thank you. All right, so the next step will be, I'll put the knobbies back on, and so the next thing I want to do is, I really hope that the cartridge in this is not dead. That's what I really hope. I don't think there's any difference in how these are made. Looks like they're pretty much identical. Should be. Yeah. Let me put that back together, and then we'll fold this back into place, and we will see what we've got. And I got this for a fairly decent price. But I am hoping I don't have to get a new cartridge for this. It'd be preferable if I didn't. Okay. So, yeah, this is very basic. Not exactly going to be, I don't believe it's going to be hi-fi. What do they say on it, on the box? Yeah, they didn't make any absurd claims about high fidelity. So that's good. So let's see here. Okay. Put that there. Alright, I probably should have done that before, just to make it easier to work with. At that time the tone arm was flopping around. Okay, so yeah, I was surprised at how they did those controls. Well, I guess it's actually not a bad thing, a bad way of doing it. The those little shields look like they might be fairly effective at keeping dust and dirt out. So I'm guessing that moisture was the culprit. Probably the issue. Let me think here. Okay, so this one, yeah, okay, so that screw has to go there. When you're putting things back together, especially when you didn't pay full attention to how you took it apart, like I just didn't, you then should pay attention to things like support posts, and you know those two line up, so that can't have a screw in it yet because it's going to show up when you put the post in. Okay, and then that would go in there. I probably should do something with these guys. Kind of corroded. How's this? That's not bad, but this one's not so good. I do believe that this had batteries in it. Shocker. That went bad, that leaked. I think I actually do have batteries I could put in this. But I was looking for a little transformer for this, and I don't know if I found one or not. It'd be really nice if I could find it. Does this give me polarity? Let me see. Does it tell me? Not on there. How about here? No. Alright. It looks like, yes. So the center pin is positive, very typical. Well, I'll tell you what, this is pretty badly corroded. But at least the spring isn't corroded away, which I've seen that too. So that battery acid can be pretty nasty. And I've cleaned many a thing that's been damaged by leaking batteries. That seemed like that was pretty stubborn corrosion. It didn't want to come. It's not real coarse sandpaper. I don't want to use that on something like this, but it's coarse enough, and that stuff did not want to move. I was beginning to wonder if it was going to come off. Alright, now, let's see. Let's see, what do I want to do? Oh yeah, I want to find out if, well, let's do this. Yeah, I'm going to do it like that. That's what I'm going to do. So the next step, well, actually, here's what we're going to do. Okay, I'm going to put a record on there, and I'm going to put the needle in and just see if the I'm going to temporarily secure that tone arm so it doesn't rotate. Hopefully that will work. That works. That doesn't want to be a permanent fix, but at least maybe I can test it. Well, or not. That's better. Now let's do this. I want to hook the power back up. Alright. Hopefully I can get in there sideways enough. Let's try it. See, well, no. That looks promising. Yeah, okay, now. Okay, so my next step is to put the needle back. But first, got this old junk record. Let's see how that head rests on there. Trying to see if I can get an idea of the angle that it sits at. My big digits aren't working well in this application. Are you going to go? Maybe? Oh, looks like it did. Now I want to see how that needle rests. It's there. It's contacting. Alright. I don't know. Yeah, no sound. I do believe the cartridge is probably unhealthy. Pretty sure I don't have anything like that. Yeah, it's not. There's one other thing I want to check. Okay. There's one other thing I want to look at, just in case. It's going to be fun to remove that. How's that secured? Is it glued in? Snapped in? I don't know. Alright, well, let's do this. Oh, I wonder. That looks like, well, it looks like there is some corrosion on these little pins that I'm trying to remove. It doesn't seem to want to give way. You don't want to pull on it too hard because you can break things easily. Yeah, that doesn't look good. That looks very corroded. Maybe that's my problem. Yeah, that's very stuck. Boy, I don't like pushing on it that hard. Alright, so what I'm doing, I'm going from side to side on this, trying to wiggle it off. I still can't tell for sure. I'll tell you what, that son of a gun is secure if it's not corroded on. It's really on there. Well, the rubber piece that this needle rests on seems, well, it's hard to tell. It doesn't look that bad. Yeah, they didn't make it easy. Come on. Yeah, that is definitely corroded. So, but I want to find out if, I don't think this is my problem, but I want to eliminate as many problems as I can. So that means I have a complete signal change from here down to there. Of course, that doesn't mean that the ground is any, or that the other connection is any good. Boy, how do I get in there? That definitely looks corroded. But let's see, there's one other thing I want to try. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see if I can get this to read anything. Alright. So Well, either that means that that cartridge is dead or that corrosion is bad on that other connection. And I'm betting corrosion, but put that under there. And we get you up right there. So this is challenging, to say the least. Well, actually, I'm going to do this. Now that I've got that connector slid off a little bit, so I can go directly to it, hopefully. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah, I don't see anything happening here. I'm not left-handed. That does not look good. That was a good thing I didn't pay a lot for this, but I would like it to work. Let's see if there's anything, clip or something down in there. Can't make out how that's... There's a little metal plate in there, which I can't really show you because it's going to be very difficult to see. And I can't tell. Let me see. We're going to try to put the magnifying glass to work. Well, what do we have? Alright, that was fun. I've never seen it without that magnifying glass. There's a little plate on the back of the cartridge, and it's got little ears that are folded out on each corner. And when you slide it in, they dig into the plastic of the head. So to get them out, you got to get them unbent or something. And I don't see how on earth I don't see how to do that. I'm reluctant to decide that this cartridge is dead, but I'm pretty sure it is. My concern for this was the amplifier, but it looks like the amplifier is working. So, I know there's not anything I can do with that cartridge to make it happier. Oh, man. There it is. I did not know if I was going to get that. Alright. Yeah, it's definitely corroded. That probably means bad things for what's inside of this. So, those are the little ears that secure this. And they're riveted, this plate's riveted on this cartridge. So the question is, can I find anything to replace this? And is there a way to mount it? Well, let's see. But let's, while I've got it out now, let's take a look at, I don't care. Let's go. Let's take another shot at trying to get something out of this cartridge. Not very hopeful. Not very hopeful at all. Let's see. I don't think we're going to get anything out of resistance. But let's see. On. Well, let's go to voltage again. Let's see. Millivolts. That's not encouraging. If I'm not getting anything out of this in millivolts, that would tell me this is pretty much dead. Well, I guess I'm going to have to look into whether or not there is something that could replace this. My big concern originally was that the needle might have been damaged. The needle looks pretty healthy. Fortunately, it looks like the rest of the cartridge is not. Well, I found an old cartridge, and it works. So my problem is the cartridge. Okay, well, I finally got a replacement cartridge. I said, okay. Now, this, well actually, I'm sorry. Well, actually, this isn't a static cartridge also, but apparently they didn't make a replacement for this. What was nice about this one is that these little ears that you see here would just slide up inside the head shell and hold it in place. Now if you compare these two, even with the rubber cushion they put on it to make it fit the head shell, the height seems to be very similar, close. Now this seems a little bit heavier than this, not surprisingly. So we'll see. I mean, not like this is a high fidelity unit. Now, they tell you, under the foam for parts, this has round pins, this one has straight. So, if you look down underneath here, you find the two replacement connectors that you need for this. So I was trying to figure out how I would best do this. I'm hoping by flipping this upside down that I could get this off. These wires are very delicate, I'm sure as you know, and let's see. Oh, don't do that. And oh, the other thing I want to mention is when you're soldering new connectors on, as handy as it might seem to stick them on the cartridge and then solder them, don't do that. You run the risk of damaging your cartridge. Thankfully I've never done that. Other people have, and they were kind enough to warn us who don't know that could happen about that possibility. Now I have seen people do that successfully, and they were fortunate enough that it did not harm the cartridge. And I think I remember actually radio, TV, phone on that. I think actually did that once, and he, as he was doing it, he said, you know, I don't recommend this, but I think there's an issue with. Can't remember it. I think the issue was it wasn't going to be easy to get the wiring out to where you could easily do what he wanted to do. So he took a chance, and he got lucky, and it worked for him. So I guess that means that it's not always bad. It doesn't always wreck your cartridge. But I don't think I want to do it. I don't want to take the risk. Oh, come on. Now, one of the things that I ran into with this was, I think they had the head shell further down, and it was jamming the wires really tightly at the end, and I was a little concerned as I was trying to pry that out of there about damaging the wires. Thankfully, that was not what happened. Made me happy. Let's see. I don't think I have enough solder on that. Let's add a little more. Let's see here. I do have one of these sponges. Seems like every time I want to use the sponge, it's dry, which is kind of annoying. So we'll see if that works. So I gave up and started using that, and that works pretty well. I haven't had any problems doing that, so that's kind of what I tend to do now. I do like the wet sponge, but I don't like the annoyance of having to wet it constantly whenever I need to use it. Oops. Alright, well, okay. The other problem that I have, and I thought I had it licked, was this shaft is loose because the plastic cracked at the base of this tone arm, and so I hit it with super glue, and it seemed like it held it, but then it wasn't holding it. Alright, so, well, that seems to be on there. These have, there's two things that they've got. Maybe I should zoom in so you can see what I'm doing more. Yeah. There's a little raised section on here, and I believe the best way to get these on there is to take the split part of the connector and slide it on so that this part is inside of here. That's my hope anyway. So let's go there, and I can't work on it and have you see it at the same time, I'm afraid. So bear with me. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Well, alright. So there, it's on there. And judging by the way that opened up, that was the right thing to do. Now this has a little groove. Let's go up, because you can't see. Alright, so this has a little groove in there that the wire travels in. And now, Yeah, this one didn't want to go on as far as the other one did. I'm very reluctant to push on this too hard though, because if you do, some cartridges are not real sturdy, and you run the risk of doing them real harm. Okay, now well, that looks better. I want to make sure this is flat. Okay. I don't know if that's the ideal. Well, where are you? Let's see. Okay. Now, let's find a... Oh, why did I do that? That was bad. Yikes. Oy vey. Alright, well, one can only hope that that worked. That did what I wanted it to. And, let's see. What do I have for a record? Alright, this is, I don't know, bluegrass or something. This is Bluegrass Special. That's not good. We have a problem. The bass notes on this record are making this jump. And at first I thought, well, maybe the volume from the speaker was causing problems, but as I turned it down, it didn't seem to matter. Well, just make sure, let's confirm this. I made an adapter. Let's zoom out, actually, because you're not seeing a thing I'm doing, are you? Alright, let's turn this off for a minute. I'm going to turn this off for a second, and we will... I'm going to hook this up here. And actually what I'm going to do is I will feed this into there. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if that's long enough. Okay, well, one of the problems that you run into with older turntables, especially something inexpensive like this, is it won't like albums that have lots of bass in them, and they try and get some of the dirt off this album. And so this is going to be kind of limited, but I have a plan for this. I haven't checked to see if I can do this, although I'm pretty sure one place where I can get vintage records from will probably let me do this. I bought one album there from them, and it turns out I didn't like it. And it didn't cost me much, but I didn't really want to keep buying albums that I didn't like. So I thought, you know what? A nice portable little turntable like this might be useful. And so I grabbed, it's more of a classical themed record, and I wanted to see how it works. And this thing will never, ever be what you call high fidelity. But I've got this hooked into, I'll show the adapter I came up with shortly. I've got this hooked into my little mono amp here. And so I'm going to play a little bit of this. I don't know, this will probably get hit with copyright just like everything else, but we'll see. Oh. So you can hear a little bit of distortion, and the question is it this? Is it, I didn't change any components on the board. Alright. Okay. So my hope is that this will work well enough for me to listen to records and get an idea of whether or not I'm going to want to buy it. I'm going to want to buy it. And the other thing I've been doing is I've been playing around. This head shell, this arm's actually loose in here, and I'm going to try to, once again, hit this with super glue, and hopefully, I mean, it's a lot better than it was. It used to just spin around. I think I've got this head aligned, because what I was doing, I had the needle sitting on the record, and I tried to see if the head shell was sitting flat on the record, and I think I've got it where I want it to be. You know, for what I've got invested in this, I think it's worth it. Oh, but this of course is mono, and so what I did was, this is a stereo, this is mono, and so all I did was I tied these two connectors together, and then I have a ground. So why would I not just stick a stereo connection in here? Well, it doesn't always work out so hot, because depending on where the tab is that rides against this, it may actually short out this leg, and there's no chance at all that you'll get both the left and right hand side of what you're trying to listen to. So this is your best bet. I've done this on more than one occasion to convert a mono source into a stereo. Wireless hearing assisted devices are all mono. Of course, I suppose you could try to find a mono headphones, a set of headphones to go with them. I haven't even looked for that. All I've done is I've created these things, plug it into the output, plug your headphones into that, and you're good to go. So the only thing that I've got left to do to this is glue that. Oh, I want to mention one other thing. And this has to do with paying attention to what you're doing when you're taking things apart and putting them back together. I get so focused on my troubleshooting and stuff that I tend to fail at doing that. And let me show you how it got me in trouble. See that little silver line right there? That goes to the volume control. That tells you at a glance that you've got this thing turned off. Kind of important. Now obviously that should tell you, but if something's doing this, and holding it, and you don't notice, then you won't know. Of course, it also gives you some idea where you are with the volume control, although it doesn't show you. I guess the biggest value is that it tells you when you've turned it to the off position. The tone control doesn't have a mark on it, and I looked for it. I thought maybe it might, because it'd be nice to know if you got it centered and it's kind of where you want it, so you can change it and then do whatever. Oh, I see a problem. Okay. Houston, we have a problem. Okay. Well, all right. Well, let's see here. Let's zoom in, I'll show you. Oh, so anyway, so pay attention. I had to take this apart again and put that little line back where it belonged. But on this, let's see, can I get in any closer without it going bye-bye on me? All right. That's sticking out enough that it's probably going to be touching the record. Not ideal. So, let's, first of all, slide this out. Okay. I may have to take that off and resolder. Okay. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm going to want to do. Yep, I don't like it. I didn't pay attention to which way that would be going on to here, and so therefore I didn't pay attention to where that was going to wind up. So, yeah. Fun. Yeah. Kind of annoying when you don't do things right. I thought about taking this apart. I may still do that, just to see if I can, just to see what's in there, and my chances of fixing this are probably 0. But I'm waiting for that. Oh, I think it's warmed up enough. All right. So, here's what we're going to try to do. I'm going to try to move this over to that side, hopefully. And then when I put it in, I'm going to try to make sure it's in there where I want it to be. No, it doesn't want to be cooperative. All right. Here's what I'm going to try. If I get a little dab of solder on there. Let's see. Nope. Come on. Be nice. These helping hands are so useful. Okay, let's see here. Come on. I think that might do. I'm hoping that extra blob of solder will allow me to position this where I want it to be. Okay, now I think yes, I think that looks good. Okay, so the other thing I just did was I tried to make sure, yeah, this is so much fun, zooming in. I tried to make sure that this was further on to the spade here. This was sticking out a little bit further than this one was. Whoops, yeah. This one was sticking out a bit further. This one was sticking out a bit further than this one was. Not sure if that made a difference or not, but. And the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that the leading edge of the cartridge, which unfortunately wasn't where I wanted it to be, was as tight up to the front end as I could get it. It wasn't there, so okay. Now, so when you're kind of getting this into place, the other possible headache that you can wind up with is that when you, when you're trying to get the wires in place, they're going to want to cross on you, which is what this one was trying to do. So, alright, well, and I'm going to try to edge this down inside. I think, let's see, I want to, bear with me as I put a magnifying glass on this and the light, which means you're not going to see squat. Alright, well, I was trying to see if the wiring for this little white wire here was looking healthy enough, and I think it is. Alright, well, we'll turn the old turn the soldering iron off. That's an expression of confidence, which I probably shouldn't be feeling. So let's see. Now the other thing I want to do is, what I want to do now is I want to see, because my goal is to see if the head shell is square with the record. And now that the wire isn't riding on the record, will this behave any differently than it did before? So that's in there, okay. All right. All right. Well, I'm sure that's enough of that. Well, you could see that sort of, well, you would see it jump. It was doing a lot of jumping. You know what? I think that is working much better. It's not skipping anymore. And it makes a huge difference if you don't have wires riding against the record, lifting the needle off the record. So like I said, now the only thing I really have left to do is try to get glue in there. Uh-oh, it did skip. Hopefully they don't ding me for that one, because you could hear it in the background, I'm sure, even with the amplifier turned off. So, yeah. Well, there it is. Now, I got the... It's been a while. I had to order the part, and I had to wait for it to come, and So I don't remember what I said previously. About this. And what was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say. It's one of those moments where you're about to say something and you forget where you were going, and it's gone. Oh yes, Voice of Music is where I got this. And when I emailed him to let him know what I wanted, he was a little bit behind on his research projects, because sometimes when you encounter something like this, which is not all that common, apparently, he had to go and find out what it was. I did tell him I thought it was a Philco, because I found some information on this that made me think that. And he said, yes, indeed, this is a Philco. That was a Philco cartridge, apparently. And apparently it's an Astatic cartridge, but Astatic did not make a replacement for this, is what I think I remember him saying. So, but there was a part number on the side here which did enable him to figure out what this was. And so now it's all set. And that rubber piece that they put on there worked great. It took a fair amount of prying to get that little cartridge out of there. So it's not like that's going to fall off on you, because there's that rubber cushion in there instead of these little metal ears that you can probably see as I move it. These little fingers stick out and you shove it in there and it actually anchors it inside the head shell. But that one works. Like I said, that weighs a little bit more than this. And actually I found, did he give me, so that's a Astatic 609 replacement. But it doesn't say what the, doesn't say how many grams of pressure that should have. It's not like this is a high-end audio device, so is that going to go? That's down a little bit. Does it matter? Probably not. It looks like it's at 0. Alright. So let's just, for the fun of it, see. That's in grams. Good. Ew. Whoa. Well, it feels light, but it's not. Oh yeah, I can feel it. 9 grams. Wow. Let's see. I usually want my grams down around 3. Yeah, 9.59. Oy, well, let's just say you don't want to play your records on this very often or for very long. But for what I want it for, I think it will do fine. So anyway, I know now that you don't really want to, if you're playing records on this, they probably should be records you're not all that worried about. Yeah. Well, I knew when I bought this that it was going to be a very low-end record player. I knew that the sound quality was probably going to be less than wonderful. And basically I'm getting out of this what I expected to get. The big thing that I wanted out of this was I wanted it to play records using batteries. because I basically just wanted to be able to bring this somewhere, plop a record on it, test, listen to it, see if it's something I really want, and go from there. And it's going to depend on who's selling the albums, whether or not they're going to let me do that or not. But this is a fun little thing. I actually kind of like it, because I think it's kind of cute, kind of cool. What I didn't know, I think I mentioned it, this Penncrest, but what I didn't know is that this was sold by J.C. Penney, printed in Taiwan. So it's probably made in Taiwan. Made in Taiwan, of course. So, yeah. So this is kind of a curiosity. It's working as well as you can expect. And what's pretty neat is that it came in the original packaging, and it came with everything, including a 45 adapter. And this little guy, just drop it on there, throw your 45s on there, and you're good to go. Most of the 45s I have the little spider centers in them, so I could put them on a record changer. Whoops, don't do that. So I could put them on a record changer and play a bunch of them at once. So, anyway, I am actually happy with the outcome. I had concerns when they were playing this. Well, like I said, they were putting it on this side of the record and watching. You could watch the needle take off. Of course, the arm was not where it was supposed to be. It was as far as being oriented correctly. But yeah, you don't want to put a tone arm on a record player going backwards. It doesn't work. So I knew that the problem they were showing me was them not knowing how to use a record player. So I was pretty confident that that part wasn't an issue. I did know that the cartridge could be a problem. It was. I did not know whether or not the amplifier was going to work properly or not. Thankfully it does. So I feel like I made out okay. It works. I think it'll do what I want it to. And it was kind of fun to play with, and it's kind of neat to have around. I could have this just as a little shelf decoration, and I'm a little bit crazy, but I kind of like it. It's super cheap. I don't know when. There's probably there's almost never any date information on this stuff, and I haven't looked this up. Ooh, look at this. Follow the simple directions in this instruction book to take full advantage of all the capabilities and special features built into your new battery-operated portable phonograph. Yeah, special features. Interesting. They tell you which side the tone arm is supposed to be in. External power, volume control, speed selector, so you can play 45s and 33s. Let's see. Yes. The person selling this to me said, well, I can also sell you the power wall wart for this. Oh, that's pretty neat. I did not notice that this has a schematic in it. Interesting. I could sell you the wall wart that to send with this, but I'm going to have to change the shipping amount if I do that. And I said, yeah, I probably have that. I have one of those kicking around that I could use. If nothing else, I can use batteries. This is not going to be used a lot. Interesting. This actually has 1, 2, 3, 4 audio transistors, and it's got 2 transistors that regulate the speed of the motor. Cartridge is ceramic. Speed electronically controlled. AC in pin polarity. Pin is positive, so they tell you what type of connection you need to make to provide power to this, and it is 6 volts. It tells you right there. Of course, 4C batteries would be the clue, but the power adapter is also 6 volts. So anyway, this is pretty neat. I like it. I love that it came with the original document, user's manual, and the little 45 adapter. I'm pleased. So I'm going to wrap up here. Actually, I don't know how many people will be interested in this. I'm going to stick this probably on the end. Let's see. I don't think that's going to behave the way I want it to. Come on. Alright, for those of you who want to see what's inside of one of these, I managed to get it apart, and maybe I can get more light on it, and hopefully I can zoom in a bit more. So, orientation. This is the cushion that the needle rests on. Flip it over. This little cushion is connected to this little rod that goes through this foam cushion and then goes into this material, whatever it is. I'm assuming it's something that responds to pressure. As the needle is moving back and forth on this cushion right here, that this is putting pressure on this, and this is actually a flat plate. It's hard to see, but this is not just a rod actually. As I look at the side of it, it's a flat plate, so as this is being vibrated by the needle, it's rocking side to side in this slot here. This material is pretty hard. And there were wires connected to this material, and this is how the wires came out. And the wires had just fallen apart. I'm not sure if it's corrosion. Kind of looks like it. I don't know. It's super fine. That super fine stranded wire that used to be connected on both sides. One here and one here. So whatever this material is, it was responding to the action of this, and then it was generating a voltage, which then got sent to there. Interesting. And as you can see, there's no saving it. So let's see, can we? Oh, slide it. Oh, all right. I didn't know if I could do that. Okay. See, I don't know if I can get in any closer. Are you going to focus? Maybe? Maybe? Or not? No? Guess not. Well, my fingers are focused. How about you? So anyway, there it is. Let's see if I can back it up a little bit because it just doesn't want to focus. Alright, so there it is. There's the question for the needle. This is a guide, and then it's the actual device that produces voltage. Interesting. I don't know if it's piezoelectric stuff or what. There's one wire connects here, and one wire connects there. And yeah. And if you think there's any way in the world you could fix this, good luck. I am not trying. There's not even the remotest chance. And it looks like, it does look like, when I was playing with it, it looks like there was actually a couple of blobs of solder there. But, But, yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Well, this is a mystery material, but I'm pretty sure it's something that responds to pressure, because as this is rocking side to side in that slot, it's putting pressure on this and then feeding the voltage out. And those wires were soldered right close. They were soldered very close to this, right here and right here, practically touching that. So anyway, I've never seen the inside of a cartridge before. Rather interesting, and very simple. This is very cheap, of course. Yeah, in the back of my mind there was this very slight hope that maybe, possibly, I could maybe save this. I didn't have a lot of hope for it, which is why I bought a new one. But yeah, interesting. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to call this done. It's cheap, but it works, and it actually works better than I kind of thought it would. And hopefully I can use it the way I want to, and it'll meet the need, and I'll get some use and some enjoyment out of it. Like, knowing how much pressure it puts on a record, I wouldn't want to play anything for very long on it, just put it that way. And it doesn't feel that heavy. Well, yeah, I guess it does. I'm shocked that this little tone arm weighs as much as it does with that in there. But I'm guessing that this, before I put this cartridge in with the rubber cushion on it, I bet this was still somewhere around 7 grams of pressure. So this was never going to be a delicate pressure record player. So anyway, wrapping it up here and saying thanks for watching, and hope to see you again soon.